Hugo typed steadily, without interrupting. When I finished, he printed the report and had me review it for accuracy. He explained this would take time to investigate. Financial crimes involving multiple parties and federal benefits were complex, but the report number would help me with the bank and other agencies. He handed me a business card and told me to call if I remembered additional details or if my parents contacted me. I folded the report and put it in my evidence folder. 2 days later, I was sitting on the motel bed organizing paperwork when I glanced out the window. Mark's truck was parked 3 spots down. He was just sitting there behind the wheel staring at our room. My whole body went cold. I grabbed my phone and called 911 first. Then I started throwing our stuff into bags. My hands shook so badly I could barely work the zippers. Dad asked what was wrong and I pointed out the window. His face went white. The dispatcher stayed on the line while I packed. She said officers were 5 minutes out. I kept watching Mark through the curtain. He hadn't moved, just sitting there watching us. When the police arrived, Mark drove away slowly. The officers took a report and told me to document any future contact. After they left, I sat on the floor with my back against the bed. Dad put his hand on my shoulder. We decided to keep our bags packed from now on, just in case. The next day, Artemisia helped me request my school records from the district office. She explained we needed documentation showing the grief therapy Mom had me in for years. The records arrived a week later, and I spread them across the motel desk. Page after page of counseling session notes from ages 6 to 16. Every single one listed the diagnosis code for loss of parent. The therapist's notes documented my ongoing trauma over Dad's supposed death, how I cried about missing him, how I had nightmares about the funeral, how Mom told the therapist I needed help processing my father's combat death. Each session was billed to my parents' insurance with that same diagnosis code. Reading through years of my own grief written up in clinical language created this weird distance, like I was reading about someone else's pain. But it also created a paper trail proving how long and deliberately Mom and Mark maintained the lie. Artemisia sent formal preservation letters the following week. One went to the bank. One went to my parents' address. The letters used legal language requiring them not to destroy any documents or records related to Dad's benefits or my accounts. Artemisia explained this was standard procedure before filing a lawsuit. If they destroyed evidence after receiving this letter, they could face additional penalties. She said the formal legal language was powerful. It put them on notice that we were building a case, and they needed to preserve everything. When I read the letter before she mailed it, I felt something shift. For weeks, I'd been reacting to what they did. Now, we were taking action, making them respond to us instead of the other way around. Agatha called 3 days later with an update. She said the bank's fraud investigation had identified a pattern. Transfers from Dad's benefits account to a joint account controlled by Mom and Mark, going back years. She was flagging the transactions as suspicious and building a timeline, but she warned me that proving the transfers were unauthorized would require more documentation. We needed records from the VA,